Umbralisib is what's called a PI3 kinase inhibitor, so it's an orally administered drug that targets PI3 kinase. Ublituximab is a novel anti-CD20 antibody in the same category as the more well-known rituximab, but Ublituximab works differently on CD20 than rituximab. And so this was really the first trial of its kind to formally investigate a PI3 kinase inhibitor, specifically in diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. There were some preclinical studies suggesting that it might have activity in diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. So we did the trial in several stages where patients were treated with single agent and patients were treated with the doublet of Umbralisib plus Ublituximab, which we call for short U2, and then a triplet of the same U2 plus a conventional chemotherapy drug called Bendamustine. So different patients got treated with single drug, doublet, or triplet. And we found that each component of the regimen, built on the other, so that the single agent Umbralisib had a response rate but was relatively low. We got a moderate response rate with the doublet, and then a pretty good response rate in the 40% range with the triplet. And the treatment was manageable. The toxicities were manageable, and so it was really sort of a proof that PI3 kinase-based therapy, PI3 kinase inhibitor-based therapy may have a role in patients with relapsed diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. What are the implications of it moving forward for clinical practice? Well, it's a little indeterminate right now, I would say. It's a crowded field. There have been several approvals in that space the last few years, and there's a lot of discussion about, well, how do we use which drug when, and how do we sequence these new agents, and then with things like Umbralisib, if that were to be added to the mix, that would even add to the sort of level of confusion. How do you move this forward? And so I would say its future there is indeterminate. Should we use it in sort of different ways? Should we, say, combine it with something like CAR T-cell therapy? So there's a lot of questions, and its future is a little bit more indeterminate, I would say.